Welcome to the American Institute of Healthcare Professionals video on Are You OCD? And in this video, we're going to look at the obsessive compulsive disorder, the components of it, the symptoms of it, and whether or not you're OCD, or if you live with someone who's OCD or know someone who's OCD, how to better help them cope with it. OCD is an obsessive compulsive disorder falling under a type of anxiety disorder. So it falls under the umbrella of anxiety itself. It constitutes various unwanted thoughts that are intrusive and repetitive, and this in turn leads to repetitive behaviors. The anxiety of the thoughts lead to a variety of ritualistic and repetitive behaviors that in essence become a compulsion. So there is a daily struggle for them individuals with OCD that can negatively impact a person's ability to really focus and concentrate and live a normal lifestyle itself. There are a variety of symptoms of OCD that fall within the spectrum of the disorder, but there are limits sometimes to individual severity or the over general conception that we have from society. Within society, the word OCD is used very freely, and sometimes it refers just to simply an individual who wants to keep order. But the actual anxiety disorder goes a lot deeper. It begins with the obsessive thought cycle, which causes intense anxiety within the individual, which results in the compulsion, and in turn leads to the temporary relief. So, according to the varying levels of dysfunction, there are many differences within it. Some individuals may have the more classic symptoms of what we see in terms of order or in regards to cleanliness itself. Some may seek cleanliness, while others may not manifest it necessarily in as high as a need. So the obsessive thought and the anxiety, which pushes the compulsion to wash one's hands to receive that temporary relief, might not be as strong in some individuals or as consistent, or it might not even be a problem at all. So different individuals have different OCD tics that can set them off in particular. Now, as an individual who is diagnosed with OCD, I understand this maybe a little bit better than others because I'm not only clinically talking about it, but I also experience it myself. So there is really no true one blueprint that every OCD person shares. I think the television program Monk really made it more of a comical situation with the detective Monk and how he manifests almost every type of symptom and severity of OCD itself. And so while the television show brought recognition to OCD, it also pointed more to its more extreme and more stereotypical aspects of it within itself. So one's order may be with something else completely and non-existent in another. It all comes down to what really gets under a person's skin and what is most important to a particular person who has obsessive compulsive disorder. The obsessive compulsion disorder can lead to a variety of other problems in one's daily life. Individuals can become irritable, lose focus and concentration on what they should be doing, forgetfulness, delays. It can lead to repetitious checking and ritualistic cleaning, or various procedures or continued reassurances. Now let's go into a couple of these a little bit more order. Why would someone who's OCD become irritable? Well, they're in a state of flux already. So when other individuals come up and distract them from that, the irritability level is already higher despite it being apparent to other individuals around them. Forgetfulness. Individuals with OCD may leave their keys or their wallet somewhere because they're so focused and intent on accomplishing what they need to do. That compulsion that is being spurred by that anxiety. Some with severe OCD will exhibit repetitious checking, meaning they have to go back and forth to see if a door is locked or not locked. and they will need to continually check this over and over. Others have ritualistic aspects to what they have to do in a particular order. Maybe it's cleaning themselves, or maybe it is a way that they end a particular day or night. Various assurances are sometimes also demanded by the OCD individual, where they look for external support and they need to be told multiple times at a certain number that what they did is okay. So, an OCD person manifests high demands. It can be very frustrating to be around. Their abilities to cope and cooperate sometimes are very limited, and this can create the image that they are self-absorbed in their thoughts, that they are rude or inconsiderate to other individuals. But the reality is they're suffering on the inside, and it makes it very hard for them to work with others. So how can we help those with OCD? Well, helping those with OCD is a combination of counseling and medication. Most OCD meds are usually managed through an SSRI, which is a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. These are the same type of medications usually used in depression. So a lot of the Luvoxes or Paxil or other types of SSRIs can be utilized to help an individual find that serotonin balance. It's ultimately a problem with serotonin. Other additional medications can be used to help calm acute situations, maybe Ativan if prescribed by a doctor. One of the biggest things, though, is helping an OCD person cope, and that's through cognitive behavioral therapy. And it is very key in helping an individual rethink and understand the logic of a certain behavior and to employ strategies to challenge those thoughts, those thought processes. And this is where CBT becomes a very helpful tool. If you're living with someone with OCD or you're counseling a client that has OCD, it's very important to show patience, to not be judgmental, and to show some sort of gentle guidance with empathy with those experiencing it. At times, they can be infuriating. I know with my own OCD, I can infuriate those around me at times. So it's important for whether you're dealing with one or not to walk away and to allow cooler thoughts to prevail, because it can become very annoying at times. There are a variety of cognitive tricks that we can use through CBT to help a person with OCD better structure themselves. Structure is the key, and at least in my case as well. So daily, weekly, and monthly planning can help OCD people. Something about writing something, putting pen to paper, allows an individual with OCD to feel like they're dealing with it while not particularly getting to it at the moment. So if there's a weekly chart to cross off things that need done, or a daily chart, this can help an OCD person focus more on the now instead of everything else that is distracting them. So if an OCD person seeks order more so, and it's more in my case, I find it very helpful to have a daily, weekly, monthly planner with short-term and long-term goals to help navigate and put a time frame on when things need done, so they don't bother the individual, or in this case myself, throughout the week if it's not supposed to be dealt with yet at that moment. Some OCD individuals need to see how low impact some worries really are. And a particular strategy is to help an OCD person think about something that might have happened a year ago, and if that worry was worth all of the concern that they put into it, and then to reanalyze it from a year later, and then to apply that same formula to current problems and say, well, do you think this will bother you in a week? How important is it? And if you could come back to this moment as a time traveler, what would you think? How would you feel about it right now? Would you kind of laugh and say, wow, I don't even remember this hardly at all? And these are ways that we can cognitively, through cognitive behavioral therapy, try to change our behaviors in how we see things. Also, it's important to put a limit to checking and asking with cognitive reassurances. A limit should be set on how many times a door can be checked, or limits can be applied to how many times one can ask, is it okay? Now, maybe 2 times is ideal, because there can be error, but as an individual comes back from therapy, if they went well beyond that and they were 5 or 6 times, as long as it starts to drop each session. Well, this time it took me only 4 times. That should be praised as you're rewiring oneself to think, and you're helping one rewire themselves to think better about how many times they need to check. Of course, cognitively, we can help individuals with these obsessions to dismiss them as illogical, and that's important to label them. But sometimes it doesn't necessarily come out with the result that we would like behaviorally in itself, because while we can say something, we still might feel it. I think meditative breathing and stepping back can also help relax an individual in acute stress. One of the things that I really like lately, and there's a lot of blog articles on it, is utilizing OCD as a superpower. So individuals with OCD shouldn't feel completely black sheeped. I think OCD can help others in professions and schooling and everything better organize and focus and be successful. So in some ways, OCD and that extra focus and that extra demand to organize can be a power for success. It's just when it goes beyond that and pours beyond its boundaries that it becomes more of a disorder. So I think organization is something that many people lack, and the ability to automatically have it in one system can be a blessing with regards to it. We are the American Institute of Healthcare Professionals. Here is our stress management consulting, as well as our Christian counseling certification. Our phone number is 330-652-7776, and our email is info@aihcp.org. Now, if you're OCD, I think this last image, and I don't need to even say what it is, might be a good indicator that you are somewhat OCD at some level. I'd like to thank you for watching and have a good day.